Guess who's back again? Get shady.
Nah, scratch that. This ain't shady. This is Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. He's back like he never left with another season of the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. Yeah, baby. So, Cha-Cha Nation, tell somebody to tell anybody to tell everybody that the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast is back, and we'll be amplifying the African sounds by bringing the best of African music to your ears.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation. My name is Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force, and I'm back as if I never left with another episode of the Cha-Cha album review series on the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. And I will not be here alone today. I have, I think at this point I'll just call out my co-host. And without further ado, I introduce to you Toby.
Hey people, what's up? Hi guys. My name is Toby, and it's always an honor to be here to discuss music with Nova. So today we're talking Omah Lay's Boy Alone.
Yeah, we are talking about Omah Lay's Boy Alone. But before we go into what the album sound like, what the album does not sound like, let me first of all give you some, information about the album. Like rightly said, name of the album is titled Boy Alone. The album was released on the 15th of July 2022. The album features Justin Bieber, Taylor, and the producers include Orlando, P2J, Tempoe, P-Priime, Niphkeyz, Michael, Alagwu, Semzi, DeboX, HARV, Avedon, Tunes Factory, Sammie, Soso, and BGRZ. Those are the producers that work on the album, and the entire length of the album is just 38 minutes. So, Toby, on your first listening on or for the album, what was your first impression?
All right, so first impression of the album. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Omah Lay's album actually grew on me. Now, and it was the same experience with when I heard what's the name, Woman. So when Woman dropped as a single, it was like, okay, where is it going? But later the song grew on me. I'm like, okay, good, this song is amazing. So that was exactly what the album did. The first time I listened to it, I was not exactly sure what I was hearing, but constantly I'm like, yo, oh my God, this is a masterpiece. When I got that moment of, oh my God, it was something, and I'm glad I got it. So first impression was like, okay, I'm still trying to figure out, but with time it grew. That was it.
All right. So your first impression about the album didn't grow on you for the first time, but you had to probably listen to it for the second, third, and fourth, and the album started growing on you gradually. And when it did, I mean, you can't, or you couldn't, or you haven't gotten enough of the album. So I'm going to be honest. I also felt the same way when I listened to the album. I'm like, okay, is that all? I mean, I was expecting more, but I don't know. And I was like on my first listening. But when I listened to the album by the third time, although I'm not going to lie, on my first listening, there was a song that immediately stood out for me. And that was I'm a Mess. That song immediately, stood out for me. I felt like that was the only song that made me actually go back to listen to the album for the second time, aside from the songs that they released as a single, which include Woman, Understand, and Attention. Those are the three songs that were released as a single. So aside from those three songs that I've heard before, I'm immersed with the song that I listened to it for the first time. I'm like, okay, I think I'll go back to listen to this album because of this song. And on my third listening, I started enjoying the album, and now I can say I totally enjoyed the album.
I want to say something about why maybe the album didn't do it for us on first listen. So, and even maybe some people till now that listen just once and cancel the album, that, oh, this album is made, or it's not even what we're expecting and stuff. I think the problem is Nigerian listeners they're already used to what Omah Lay is. So it's an element of see finish sort of. So when he first came out with all those his bad influence and stuff, we're like, oh my God, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Something new. We've not heard it. So we jumped at it. He gave us what's that first song? Get Laid. After giving us Get Laid, he gave us What Have We Done. We've seen Omah Lay too much. I even released singles, Understand, and all that. By the time we got to album, we're like, nothing new. Yeah, nothing new because we've heard Omah Lay all this, but it's not as if Omah Lay got bad or got worse or lost his essence. He's still that person. I think what would help people to actually get the genius of this album and how it's even like one of Omah Lay's best works, because unlike some people that dropped album this year that were like, oh, their former albums were better, this album was actually better than other works Omah Lay has done. You would have to listen to Get Laid, listen to What Have We Done, then come and listen to this one. Then you will see, okay, this is the same person. These are actually places where he had done better, and then you would make better judgments. Hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that Boy Alone is a masterpiece. Thank you.
But don't you think, I mean, I like the angle where you came in from about, probably because quote and unquote, see finish and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like you rightly said, Omah Lay has dropped 2 projects. Could it be an issue of higher expectation rather than see finish? Could it be that we expected, because I mean, we know what Get Laid sounded like. We know what the other EP also sounded like. I'm like, oh, wow, this is, so maybe we're expecting, oh, now that he's putting, an album out, then it should be, boom, all at once. Could that also be a factor, or you just see finish totally?
No, I don't even think people knew what to expect or wanted to like expect higher from Omah Lay. I think what happened was it's see finish and also forgetting Omah Lay's essence, because now who are the artists we're working with? Niphkeyz has been dropping hits, Ashake and his bangers and stuff. Then Omah Lay comes, he's not sounding like Ashake, he's not sounding like Niphkeyz. You've forgotten what he used to sound like before, plus it's not even new like that. So it's like, oh, it's mid, Let's put this in the test. Ashake has been dropping hit, Abi, and Ashake album is coming. Let's see if it will wow us as much as we thought, because it's that see finish, you're expecting something more. And before you know it, it's not really like that, it's mid. But okay, even if this album is still wowing people, Ashake's second album, everybody will be like, oh, it's not doing well again, that kind of thing. We have so many people in the game right now, and so many things are happening. So we're overwhelmed with music that most times we're now, even our expectations are like, oh, people are expecting more. Is your expectation realistic, really? So when you mean you're expecting more from, what's his name, Omah Lay, what are you expecting? Are you expecting a different type of Omah Lay to come and start sounding like Davido and Ashake, or you're expecting Omah Lay to maintain his essence, but you see the growth and the improvement in his work and craft?
All right, so let's talk about the production of the album. What would you say was the quality of the production on the album?
I think that the experience, because also what production helps to do is to improve the experience of the listener. And I think I had a great experience listening to Omah Lay's album. I would liken it to listening to Asha's album, because the production was top notch and they didn't lose Asha's personality and all that in trying to like make her album maybe the production seem a little off from what we know about Asha and stuff. So Omah Lay did that. In fact, personally, I think he had a hand in the production of his works, even though yes, he had producers, but I think he still had a hand in his production, and I think the production is great, really good. And the first song did for me, and that was also the album that Recognize. It was something, and with the production of Recognize. Sorry, I didn't pay attention to whoever did it. Who did it? Who produced?
Orlando produced that.
Yeah. So for that first person, that Orlando that did the Recognize, I think that was the production that stood out for me. Yeah, Omah Lay did this thing with his vocals that used to sound like someone that doesn't know what he's saying, but the production of that was top notch. It sold. It was a good album. Is it opening? What they used to call the first songs of album?
Yeah,
Shaft.
album opener.
yeah, our album opener, and it really sold it. I think the production of the album all through was great. They didn't lose Omah Lay's essence while like trying to do magic with production. It was just there.
All right. Can you tell us what your best songs are and what your bad or weak song are on the album?
Okay. I don't even know how that is going to be. Again, like I said, the album for me to describe it, I think the album followed a good progression for me. Like I said, Recognize was a really good album opener. And then I is one of my favorites. I don't know if it's my top favorite, but it's one of my favorites though. I did it, Bend You did it, Woman, we've heard it before. It sounded better as an album. Then I'm a Mess. Now I'm a Mess was something. It was a really dope song. So the first songs he put in the album, like the progression, you'll be getting better song, and like the next song is better than the last one and stuff. So in as much as I want to talk about my favorite songs, but I think it followed a progression of really good songs. By the time you're getting to the end, you know, okay, you're getting to the end. By the time you get to song 12, 13, 14, you'll be like, okay, fine, done the end. I can listen to this without paying attention. I can, that kind of thing. But my absolute favorite, I don't know, I beg, I don't know. I would name 5, can I?
All right, go ahead. Name the 5. Let's hear you out.
All right. I mean, Mess, definitely. I definitely. Now, I love this Never Forget song. Why I love Never Forget is because I could hear techno in that song. Yo, I was like, techno did not do this song. Or if he's going to do a remix, can techno be in it? And techno is one of my favorite people. So I was hearing techno in that song and I love it a lot. I don't know if techno inspired that song, but that person like, I will know, I will know, I will know. That's like what techno would do, like play with things like that. So I would count that number 3. So I am a Mess. Never Forget. Which other song would I put there? Then Recognize. Yep, Recognize. Safe Heaven, and that's it.
All right. So, I mean, you've mentioned 5 songs, you just wanted to pick. So you just picked 5 songs. So now let's talk about, is there any song that you feel were not up to standard and why?
I don't like talking about standards. I'll just talk about my least favorite song based on personal preference and stuff. So personal preference, the one I don't really like. Understand did not do it for me. Now, do you know why I also, and this Understand would also like prove my point that I still finished. Now, as a single, Understand was just there, but people were vibing it, 50 million views on YouTube without its confusing video. And then, so if everybody liked Understand so much on as a single, and then they put it in an album with so many songs better than it, and you have the guts to say that the album is mid, are you okay? But yeah, like I said, Understand didn't do it for me. It's not a personal favorite for me. And the Purple song, it was the ending song. I didn't really feel it. It's like, oh, the album is ending. It's like I did not really feel the last song. But that does not mean it's not a good song though. Apart from it, the other songs in the middle that I didn't add as my favorite song, the one with Justine Bieber. As a single, I loved it a lot, but when it was in the album, I'm like, nah, better songs are here. So Attention, the one with Taylor was just there. Others were my favorite, and then Understand and Purple Song didn't do it for me.
Like I rightly said at the beginning, I'm a Mess was that song that stood out for me from the first listening. Like I really, really enjoyed I'm a Mess. And I think one thing that made I'm a Mess stood out for me was the writing and the composition of that song was just something else for me. It's kind of stood out. I mean, yes, Recognize was good. I was also lovely. Bendy was crazy. Omar, we've had that as a single. But then I got to I'm a Mess. I'm like, wow, like, okay, I know Omah Lay could write, but this is crazy. Like, this is insane. So I'm definitely going to pick I'm a Mess. And I mean, I'm going to pick Tell Everybody, which is the one that also has Taylor. For whatever reason, I just kind of cordially vibe to it. And again, I know me and you, we've had this conversation on the low outside the podcast and stuff like that, yeah. But I don't know why. Understand is a very, very good song. I mean, the writing skills in Understand, it's I don't even want to go into it, but let's just say my top three. I'm a mess. Understand. Tell everybody. I also vibe with Bend You. I also vibe with I. But I think my least favorite song on the album is gonna be like Riley said, the Purple song. I
Yeah,
don't know. I didn't really
yeah,
like the
purple
Purple
song.
song that much.
Even like album the end, let's just add something to end it. I'm like, yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like the Purple song that much. And also, for whatever reason, Temptation didn't. I don't know. It didn't
Yeah,
just do it
I
for
didn't
me.
even remember that song existed. Yeah, yeah,
Temptation too.
yeah.
It didn't also just. It didn't do it for me. It was just But yeah, those are my top songs, and those are my list songs on the album. Now to wrap it up, I'm going to ask you two questions. So the first one is going to be, if you are going to rate the album, let's say over 10, what is going to be your rating? And then number two, let's just try to project into the future. And this is just us just projecting and trying to guess. Do you think this Omah Lay's album is an album that you can say, okay, this album is Grammy material or Grammy worthy, or it has a shot, to be nominated for the Grammy?
Okay, I'll start with the first one to rate the album 8/10. Very good 8/10, and yeah, 80%. It was that album. It did good. It's an album I always repeat. It's up there among my favorite albums that dropped this year. Now the second question about Grammys. Yeah, I think Omah Lay is in a space where he just wants to do his thing. So it did not send the people on your Grammys or anything. He's just there doing his thing. And that is also the vibe this album gave. Because even with the whole vibe of the album, the whole I'm a mess, I'm just there in my head, I'm trying to succeed in life, Kiniko, the one with Justin Bieber, what was even so the whole attention and stuff is even the lyrics, he's in a space right now where he just wants to be. So I don't think this album is something that represents the whole Grammy hype, but that was intentional. I think Omah Lay is giving Kiss Daniel, will I say growth vibe, sort of. Because when Kiss Daniel was dropping all the good songs, we're like, this guy is good, but underrated and stuff. He was dropping all the good songs for us, and now Buga, we're like, hey, Kiss Daniel is everywhere, as if he has not always been there. So when it's time for like Omah Lay to blow, and we're all like looking at him all over the world, it will get there. But Omah Lay is just on its own now. The album is on its own. It does not want noise. It does not want hype. It does not want anything. So no to Grammys for Boy Alone. And I dare say a Boy Alone is too special for the Grammys. Let's just have it to ourselves. No Grammy. Before they will not say they nominated Boy Alone and Burna Boy's album, Burna won, therefore Omah Lay is nothing. Please, they should carry their Grammy and be dragging. Leave us alone.
Oh boy. I mean, for me, technically, like I said, the album is a very good album. If I'm going to rate the album, I'm going to give the album a 7.5/10. That's what I'm going to give the album. And in
I'm
terms of
excited. You know why I'm excited?
why,
I listened to your album almost all through. Sorry, did I say your album? Your podcast almost all through today. And I'm not a hater, but when you rated Fireboy's album, you gave it 7. So hearing that Omah Lay is 7.5, I'm joking. I'm so excited because the way I've carried this album on my head, anybody that talk on my head, I say shut up. So even this small validation from you, I'm like, it's fine. Even if it did not reach the 8 that I gave it, but the fact that
oh. All right, I really do hope that Omah Lay will get to listen to this episode and get to see how hyped you are on about the album and say, oh yeah, have a new fan in Toby and Toby so hype about my album. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna give the album a 7.5. And in terms of reprojecting into the future and saying maybe the album is Grammy worthy or Grammy material, for me, I'm also going to be honest. I don't think the album is. I don't think Omah Lay made the album with the mindset of I want this album, to either get nominated for the Grammy or quote unquote heading to the Grammy. I don't think that was the mindset of making this album. I think he just made this album with someone that wanted to tell a story or someone that wanted to let us into an aspect of his life that we don't know about and stuff like that. So to say it's not Grammy worthy or to say it's not Grammy material, you have to understand that we are saying the album is a good album. It's not like the album does not qualify to get to the Grammys. No, it's just that the album was not made because, if you know the Grammys very well, then you know that there's a specified way you make your song or your album to actually get nominated to the Grammy. If you don't follow that line, no matter how good or how solid your album is, it will not get nominated because you've not made it to be or to suit, the Grammy criteria or whatever it is. So yes, the album, like I said, is a good album and it wasn't made with the mindset of we wanted to get nominated, for the Grammy.
Although the album is on a league of its own.
Yeah, the album stands out on its own. So on that point, on that note, we have come to the end of the Cha-Cha album review series on the Cha-Cha Music Review Podcast. But I feel like there's one more thing Toby wants to add before she goes. So let me just allow her to say one more thing before she goes.
What do you want me to say to you now? What do you want me to say to you? Anyway, you've listened to the gospel. If you like, adhere to the gospel. You join us in heaven. Omah Lay safe heaven. If you don't follow, find yourself wherever you find yourself. But yeah, guys, seriously, listen to the album again and follow the recommendation I gave. Listen to his first one, Get Laid. Listen to What Have We Done, and come and listen to this one, and you see that maybe your expectations were not representative of what you know about Omah Lay, or you just get a new insight and the album will just like, wow, you have this aha moment about the album. That being said, bye guys. It's always a pleasure to be here to talk music and I love it. I always love talking to you guys. So
all right, so till I come here with another episode, my name will always remain Avedon, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. Remember, keep the energy, keep it 100, and keep it positive. Peace out.
Cha-cha time, two time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Alaye la wa cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Wati my body, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang, cha-cha gang. Wati my god.